Well, the conviction of a Wisconsin gun owner on federal weapons charges is raising serious questions tonight about the federal government's commitment to the Second Amendment. And that's the right of our citizens to keep and bear arms. Now, months after his conviction on charges that many say should never have been brought, gun owner David Olofson could pay a very heavy price. Bill Tucker has our report from Milwaukee.
Army veteran, reservist, father of 3, David Olofson is looking at spending up to 6 years of his life in prison. The reason? He lent a neighbor his 20-year-old AR15, a semi-automatic rifle that is popular with gun owners. The neighbor fired hundreds of rounds at the local shooting range, and all was well until the rifle fired 2 multi-round bursts, drawing the attention of local police and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Olofson argued that the gun had malfunctioned and that given its age, it simply needed to be repaired. He was never given the chance. He was taken to trial. That decision has gun enthusiasts outraged.
This is a guy with a clean record for whom there's not even the slightest allegation of any violence ever in his past, let alone any inclination to use violence against law enforcement officials.
In January, he was convicted of the felony transferring a machine gun. Olofson's military pension, gone. He's out of the reserves, and he is now a convicted felon. His case has alarmed gun owners, law enforcement officials, and lawmakers. The criticism begins with the way the search on Olofson's home was conducted.
They used tools to pry, hydraulic tools to pry apart the door frame, kick the door in. The SWAT team was fully armed with body armor.
Olofson's computers, gun manuals, and gun collection were all seized. Nothing illegal was found. Olofson was never shown a search warrant or allowed to let the officers simply enter through his front door.
To think that a SWAT team would be organized, my God, did they suspect that Mr. Olofson was holding families hostage or had his children locked in the basement for 2 years?
Adding to the outrage, initial testing on Olofson's rifle by ATF concluded that it was not a machine gun. Not happy, the ATF ordered a second round of testing. That time, they did find a malfunction. It's called a hammer follow, and it can cause a semi-automatic weapon to fire multiple rounds.
If the malfunction wasn't apparent to the experts at BATFE the first time, then they certainly shouldn't have prosecuted the guy for the malfunction. It just doesn't make any sense.
Critics say the problems stem from a lack of uniform testing protocol at ATF. 2 bills have been introduced in Congress to overhaul ATF procedures and require videotaping of every test. They are H.R. 4900 and H.R. 1791. Now, the U.S. Attorney here in Milwaukee and the ATF continue to maintain their silence, having no comment, saying they will have nothing to say until after Olofson is sentenced. That sentencing was to take place tomorrow, but his defense attorneys filed 2 motions last week that have caused the judge in this case, Judge Charles Clavert, to delay that sentencing. And Kitty, the sentencing is supposed to take place next Tuesday on May the 13th, and we, of course, will be here with that sentencing when it should happen. Kitty?
We will continue to follow this story. Thanks very much, Bill Tucker.